As long as I could remember, my father was a diver. Because my parents divorced when I was 6, I would only spend the weekends with my father, and the weekends were filled with diving. Friday evening training with his diving club, and then Saturday and Sunday diving. When I was about 9 years old, my father came home with his standard equipment, which he had acquired from a well-known antique dealer. Together we rebuilt the equipment, and when it was finished, my father frequently went diving with it. I was still too small and would have to wait a few more years to dive with this heavy equipment. I could only proudly watch and hope that one day I would dive in it too. Around the time I turned 16, disaster struck. My father hadn't been feeling well and finally went to a doctor. He received the bad news that he had cancer in an advanced stage and that he was terminally ill. Sadly, he passed away shortly afterwards. In addition to the enormous sadness I had, I also immediately learned the hard lessons of life. Based on the good intentions of his girlfriend at the time, my grandparents and my uncle, I accepted their help in settling the estate. Unfortunately, money destroys more than you would like. I was left with one ring, a bracelet and his standard equipment. All his valuables were gone. I looked forward to getting it back in the water and relive the happy times with my dad. But unfortunately, when I went to pick up the diving gear, the most important thing, the helmet, turned out to be gone too. Years passed and I had almost lost my love for diving, but an itch urged me to get the standard set back in the water and I would be the one to dive with it. My search for a diving helmet had begun. After much searching, I found the right helmet and had it sent back to the Netherlands. Not long after, I was busy at work when my phone rang. An unknown number called me. Normally I wouldn't answer, but for some reason I took this call. It was Kees de Jonge, a helmet diver and collector. It turned out that he had bought a helmet and went to see if he could find information about it. In his search, he happened to contact the dealer who originally sold the helmet to my father. After a long conversation, Kees and I agreed that we would exchange helmets. He would have the helmet I bought and I would have my father's helmet. The helmet had found its way back to me after being missing for 20 years. Kees told me that the Dutch Historical Diving Society were meeting soon to dive and he invited me to join them. 20 years after my father's death, the equipment was complete again and I was the proud diver who was allowed to go into the water with it. I've been regularly diving with Kees and the HDS ever since. In some way, each time I go down, it feels like I'm with my father again. Daddy, if you're watching, I'm teaching my son to dive now. As soon as he can and wants to, he will wear your suit and we dive together. Something we never had the chance to do.